subscribe.
The Angry Ops Guy podcast, featuring Mike and Christina, pushing the ops machine forward no matter the grind. Real talk, real stories, and hard truths from two battle-tested pros.
Welcome to another edition of the Angry Ops Guy podcast, joining the Angry Ops Guy live from his week off of work, but not his week off of operations, because operations never sleeps. No days off in operations.
Christina, what's going on?
I don't know. It's been a busy week. I'm onboarding new people.
Has it been a good week or has it been a shitty week?
I'm going to say it's been a good week. Got some new energy on the team, which I need, which I like. I feel like getting into the weeds on a few things is not all for a lost cause, because it lets me improve process, make sure things are up to snuff. So I'm going to say that my trajectory in ops is moving upward.
You medicated today?
Am I? No, because I needed to refill I ran out of my blood pressure pills yesterday. So I have not had one today. I'm not self-medicated either.
Well, comforting. Yet. It's in Alberta time, it's mid-afternoon.
It is. Only a few hours to go.
Well, I'm glad you're having an okay week. You know, it's better you say good. Look at you just being optimistic. Is there ever a good week in ops? Have you really accomplished anything? Have you ever actually made any progress?
I feel like I did today. I had no meetings.
Isn't that the best day in the world when you figure out how to put that in your work week?
Yeah. I wish I knew how to do it more often. I've tried for years to have days with no meetings consistently, like every Friday I will not have a meeting, or every whatever I will not, and it has never worked. So
didn't I tell you on episode 2 or 3? So yeah, F off days. And it's just an internal thing that I say to myself, but it's like at least one day a week, at least. And I usually do it Wednesday is my fuck off day, because it's like Mondays, you're turning the machine on, people, staff, making sure that there's fires that you have to put out because something always happens on a weekend, and then you just kind of hear about it Monday morning. But Tuesday then gets kind of into really meetings mode. And then it's like Wednesday, it's like I got to catch up on everything that happened Monday, Tuesday, because we get tired going Thursday, Friday, and nobody needs, I'm going to block 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Friday to catch up. Nobody's got brain power to want to do that. You're just trying to get to the finish line because you only got 2 days to get away from ops.
It's true. I need to figure that out. I just have never,
What is there to figure out? I'm going to challenge you for next week. Or no, that's not fair because your calendar's already probably blocked up. Next week.
New Year's resolution.
No, not New Year's resolution, December resolution. Either next week or the week after, you find whatever's calendar's not as stacked, and you've got to say there's one Christina F off day, and you just got to block it. You're going to block it 9 to 5, and it's going to say work time.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm going to hold you accountable that you're going to do it, and you're going to see how much shit you got done, because December's coming, and it's a short month for deliverables. It's a short month for production centers. It's a short month for everything. And if we don't get on top of this shit, can I, this is random, sorry, but this is an important fact to our audience. No, it's about December. It does not matter whether you are a single operator or you have a team. Set a final due date for new production work that's coming into your agency early in December. We did this about 5 years ago, and credit to Jack Porter Smith, because Jack was the original that used to put notes in the bottom of his email signature that said, it was always Jack's personality. I was like, oh, hello, hi, thank you for spending $1 million with me, but I'm not here and I'm traveling. I'm like, okay, but I was like, Jack, you can't use it like that. But what he was telling them right away that I've told you numerous times with engagement when you can talk to me. So we adopted that in December, and in December months, and we say shutdown date is like December 9th, December 10th. And that means that we work till Christmas Eve. That means we've got basically 15 calendar days. We've got, let's say, 9 or 10 production days to get what's in the queue and what's scheduled or progressing until we shut down for Christmas for a week. And then we restart. And it's been very positive because no more working until Christmas Eve to launch this. No more taking meetings on December 22nd when nobody's around. So, sorry. The point, put that in your signature in red lettering blocked and say, any new requests, any new items, any new this, we need in by whatever date you feel comfortable to align with your production centers or your internal production team. Protect that. Nobody needs to be taking on a project or a new development that has an 8-day turnaround on December 19th.
I like that.
It's we do that. We put it also. We take half-day Fridays. We work with the team and do half-day Fridays for 3 months of the year, and we put it in our signature. So every time you get an email during that month, this is when we're working. We then and so forth, and nobody's sitting there going, "Where are you? What is this and whatever else?" So again, big credit to Jack Porter Smith. He saw that putting like a note or a memo at the bottom of your email signature was a way to talk to people because. How many people look at an email blast saying CIPR is closed for Thanksgiving? 7% of your list.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, I tried to call you on Monday. We're like, we told you you're on stat. So you're communicating with people every day. Put it in your Skype message under the description line. Put it in your MS Teams. Put it in your email signature. It's a great way to protect your ops crew and your sanity for a month. It's already very hard just to get what's existing out.
Yeah. No,
One I love about you, I love the one that you taught us at regionals about if your project is stuck in our pipeline, we freeze it or whatever, you basically pay a rent fee every month. And then when we reactivate it, then the rent fee goes away. I haven't adopted that yet in ours processes yet, but I love it.
I made 10 grand. I made 10 grand once on a website sitting in a parking lot.
What?
Yeah.
Well, but again, I was in the back row being an idiot at regionals like usual, and you were talking about that, and I was like, whoa. I'm like, what a great insurance policy, what a great mechanism. Because again, at the Dominican Convention, I told that story about just a very challenging project because of the first bad impression I had with the client against me. And it sat in my queue for 5 years, and it would come back in waves and stuff. And the amount of money that we didn't make because we were exhausting resources with this time game. If I would have done that or had Christina 2 years earlier presenting that to me, it probably would have moved that project along because she would have been accountable knowing that she's an eyesore, or at the very least, you want to let it sit like a storage locker. You pay rent every month. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, maybe
those are two things people can do.
I'll explain that whole process. I feel like
Please.
If people hadn't caught that. So I feel like very similar to you and probably to many ICs, you have these websites that get stuck, stalled, and it's not your fault. And so for us with website process, we have probably like everyone else, 3 phases. We have that design initial phase, right? Okay, the research, the findings, the this, the that, the everything. So we're building content, we're building mock-ups, we're, making decisions in that first phase. If that stalls out, so if I haven't gone into, development yet, and that piece stalls, I will put your project on hold and I won't charge you because, right now you're just sitting in a G drive somewhere. But when you finally figure your shit out and you come back to my team, it's going to be 14 days, 10 to 14 days for me to turn you back on. So you can't come in and all of a sudden on a Friday at 3 p.m. tell me, I'm ready to go, hit go in development, here we go. My other piece of that phase 1 is how we stagger our payments with website is there's, we do 50% upfront. And then once we hit that, once you're done and you've signed off on our phase 1, so mock-ups, content, all the things we need to get going, that's our next 25%. So to get into your next stage, you need to pay me again. You need to sign off on your stuff. And then I'm not wasting money. So yeah, I've done a lot of work in the first half. I've gotten everything ready. You've disappeared. Pause. Second stage is obviously dev and pulling it all together. And that can be very time consuming and take a lot of time.
That's where
That's
it
my
gets
next.
stuck. Content development always, well, content development historically just railroaded web dev, right? It's web dev can be on track QA, web dev, theme building, and then where's the content? And then, well, they don't want to pay you to do it or generate it. They want to write it themselves, and then you're sitting there literally every week with, "Hey, Christina, hey, where's this information? We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you." And sits in it for a year.
Well, and that's why we pulled it into phase one because we
Yeah,
had so many websites sitting in dev waiting for someone's content somewhere. And it's
yeah.
like, no way, no way. We need it all up front. And yeah, in the second phase, like in that development phase, there's always a page that you're like, oh, we need content here. Oh, this content needs to change. But at least we have enough in this first phase. I also hate going to development where you have pages with no content on them and then a client comes and shits all over, but you're trying to accept, well, this is bare, but there's nothing on this page. You have no idea how we're going to bring this page to life when you finally send us that video you were talking about, or that graphic, or the 1,000 words of content. So to me, it solved-ish that issue. So, phase two, you're paying me the last owing balance, that 25% before I'm knocking it live. And then if you disappear on me, so if there's holdups on the approval process, if there's holdups because whatever, you've stalled yourself out, now you're sitting, you've occupied a space wherever you have occupied that space. So now you're going on a website maintenance plan immediately. So whatever your monthly website maintenance fee is, we are starting to charge that. If we don't hear from you for 30 days, the next day you're going on a website maintenance plan and you're staying there until you contact me again.
Interesting.
And we make them sign off on that right away.
Nice.
But I've had, like I said, I had a client sit on that website maintenance plan for a real long time, years, made 10 grand. Just because it sat there. And of course, the team would look in and, okay, yep, still operate, like, just making sure that website is
No,
where it
but
is. So
basically what you've positioned is you're renting space until you can pay it off all you want, but till you actually get it finished and get it off of my parking lot, you're renting space.
totally.
And
And
it's a good way to look at it. Like our billing on the web dev side's pretty simple, to be honest with you. Like upon proposal sign off and before the kickoff meeting, 50% down, no matter what the project is.
yeah.
After kickoff meeting, the timer starts 30 days after the kickoff meeting, 25%.
Hmm.
So by the time we're 30 days into the project, no matter what stage or status we're at, we're 75% covered. And then the final 25% is paid basically at project final. And then our rules are, if project final is dictated by if we are launching it in our server environment that we have full control over, then we will release it and then we will produce the final billing. If they have their own server or preference of where we're installing the site when we launch it, then they have to pay up front before we'll release whatever we've produced.
I like your 30 after 30 days. That's the next payment. Because for me, if that first one, it creates more predictability in your
Yes.
billings,
Yeah.
which I have really wanted to try to figure out. So I like that. But two, again, we just talked about content. I mean, sometimes we're chasing content for a long time. So you're not getting that second installment in for a while if you're doing it from that phased approach. So
Yeah, we do it. We do it just by calendar clock, and that it works very well for us. We used to do 35, 35, 30 back in the old days.
okay.
But again, in fairness, you need a serious commitment from your customer, right? Like you go into the car and you say, "I want the brand new Toyota." You got to put down a substantial deposit before they'll say you're serious to go buy it. It's no different than your website. We're not selling $1,500 websites. We're sending $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 websites. Like company, yeah, I'm building you a $30,000, $40,000 website. You should be able to put down $20,000 without blinking an eye, because if you're starting to scoff at me already, because this is what happens, right? Everybody signs and we don't do equity or financial background checks, and credit card is going to bounce and so forth. So that whole thing about we said about launching that whole process that my Peter put in place was because way back ago, I'm going at least 10 years, at least. We had a couple other project managers at the time, including me. The business was structured differently, and so we had a good relationship with the client. Well, like I said, project, because of finagling and slowness, took almost a year to get out, got it out, pushed it live. And then the company stopped responding to us and replying to us and taking emails and whatever else, and didn't pay their final bill. We had to write it off as bad debt.
Yeah, I have a question for you. How good are you guys at following the rule of payment before any work begins?
Oh, it's everything. We will not touch anything until we get paid. And I am the asshole that enforces that. Like,
So when you onboard,
yeah.
okay, new sale comes in, you're onboarding it. Are you waiting to onboard it at all before payment? Or you've onboarded, you've issued payment, and then it's the team will start once you've paid the bill?
Well, we work really hard at our accounts receivables. So like I produce, or my Peter produces me a report every Monday about where the AR stands. And so we really make sure that we're not, that way. So we stay militant that right now. Again, yeah, did Christina pay her, $1,500 deposit on this setup fee or whatever else? As long as I've got the credit card, like we do everything by credit card now.
Right.
Post COVID checks systematically were going away. We still get a handful, but nothing. We do e-transfers with obviously local markets where we can do e-transfers, whether that's provincial or Canada wide. And then if there was anything in the US, for example, that we were working on a joint venture with like another IC, like wire transfer, bank transfers would be the way we do payments. But to sit there and say like, no, I need to see the money get in the bank account before I'll do anything with you. I think we vet our customers smart enough that we don't have to do that.
Okay.
And we make a point of this is exactly what the terms are, and we make sure the proposal contract is signed. And we make sure now, because we're doing everything with Proposify, and I was the slowest adopter to Proposify. I hated it. That's like anything, just got to get used to it. Got to build your own few templates that you like, and then it can be very rewarding. But now every proposal that gets signed comes back to us, and it needs our signature as well. So it needs 2 signatures, e-signs, to authenticate the proposal, which is the contract. And the customer doesn't get a copy of that contract until I sign it or the salesperson signs it.
Right.
And so then as soon as that contract goes to them, it goes, hi, here's your copy. And now right away, I got to set you up with accounting. Here's the credit card authorization form. You need to, it's e-fields, fill it out and send it back to us. We get that. Then it goes into billing. Once billing is initiated and I can facilitate that credit card form to accounting, then I will transition into the kickoff scheduling or the first day of work scheduling with the relatable manager and myself and whatever else. So but that's if they say, oh, yeah, I'll e-transfer. Like e-transfer clients, respectfully, are only clients that we know. We know they have a history with us. But if Christina's, the new person that came in just said, yeah, I want to pay by e-transfer, I better have, you better show me that you're e-transferring it in 4 hours, and I'm not playing this 3-week hula hoop. But yeah, if you're getting paid by e-transfer, I would absolutely say that it's like you have to see that in the business account before you start. If you've got a valid credit card, then process that invoice payment before you jump. Like everybody wants to start yesterday. Everybody wants to get their new client going. No, until accounting is set up correctly, it's classified correctly, you have the proper documentation signed and mutually shared with both parties, and a credit card authorization form done, you don't start day one. Because remember what I said in one of my former presentations. As soon as day one starts, you're on the clock, which means costs with the production centers and your billable time. And also, if they think they're on the clock, then whatever scope of work and whatever ETA you estimated in your proposal, now they're just chewing to hold you accountable to that. Because
Right.
Christina, I signed yesterday, so today's day 2. No, our queue doesn't allow you to start for 2 weeks.
Right.
So the next 2 weeks, I'm going to schedule the meeting, do the accounting. I'm going to give you the onboarding package to fill out. I'm also going to do some research for you. And then we're going to sit down. Like, we don't have to start tomorrow. Nothing is that important. And if you're getting bullied into those type of projects, that's not good ops. And I've done so many of those. I'm sure you have as well.
Yeah.
They're
I've just,
stressful.
yeah. I just added a little clause into my Proposify. I've yet to, well, I
What is
shouldn't
it?
even say I have yet to see someone sign, because I have seen someone sign on it, but this whole Canadian postal strike
Yeah, well, a bunch of nonsense.
went a bunch of nonsense, but it's not the first time. It's not the last time. And, I've got some theories there that this will be the last time because everyone is just going to move to what they need to
Digital.
move to.
Yeah.
But
Embrace
similar
digital.
to you, like we have moved most of our folks to credit card or, direct deposit, those pieces. There are a very small handful of people still on checks, which makes me nervous. So obviously I scrambled and did some outreach and just said, hey, offered a little 5%. If you come on to direct deposit right now, I'll give you a 5% credit on your note. Just trying to sweeten it a little bit for them
Yeah,
to get their
big
attention,
time.
I think is huge. But I added a little like must initial here and let me know how you are going to pay.
Yep.
Where,
Yeah, we have
how
it
are
on
you?
we have it on our form. It says like, are you paying this way, that way, or whatever? And to your point, like again, the digital age, it makes it so easy to send money now.
Yeah.
Like again, I would honestly say for the three only ways that we would truly take payment moving forward is again, if it's large sum or if it's international, then bank wire transfer.
Yeah.
If it's local community, because a lot of us are community-based kind of agencies, e-transfer can be acceptable because of the immediacy, and you can get the notification saying Christina sent that $2,000. Say perfect, let's get going.
Right.
And the other is valid credit cards, and and
You
then
don't
again,
take
like you said,
invalid?
like this postal strike is basically going to dinosaur checks
I think
because
so.
again, people are scared of like not getting their money, and lots of people, Christ, lots of our revenue being paid, money being paid was checks back in the day. To your point,
Yeah.
like so, you got to get people in the digital space. It's easier for us. And look, managing the credit cards numbers and the expiries and the declines is a job in itself.
Oh, totally.
Oh, there should be money there. I'm like, well, we've tried to charge it 3 times, hasn't gone through. And then like an hour later, it's like, I just paid off a big debt. Could charge it tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mike, you're really forceful. Well, actually, your AR is at 138 days. I've sent you an email every 20 days of that entire cycle telling you that the credit card is declined.
Yeah.
And I need to be paid, please. And we work to eat.
Well, it's funny. I actually am having a conversation with a client around their AR. And,
Yeah.
I think there's an interesting, and I remember it would have been one of my first conventions I went to, and I sat in
Was that what,
Carlos,
what happened? What happened in Mexico?
Mexico. Yeah, first
19.
Mexico, 2019. Yeah.
I don't remember you there at all.
No, thanks.
Well, it's not like you came over when my fat ass parted the waves of the pool. Like,
I feel like I was
Jesus.
very deer in headlights. Like, who are these people? This like wacky new cults that I'm a part of. Just, I spent a lot of time in the pool by myself.
WSIC is just hammered at 2:30 in the afternoon, talking digital marketing, thriving.
I'm like, what am I a part of? Anyways, I remember Carlos Guzman talking about um, AR, talking about some of these big clients he has, and they're like, I think he had said one was like 100 and something days to pay, right? Like these big companies. And so, one, there is this
Oh, you're
balance.
talking like the net 30, net 60, net 90 clients?
Yeah,
God, I hate that.
I hate
Oh.
that. So I'm actually dealing with two. So one was interesting because one of the gals in obviously the accounting department emailed me and said, "Oh, like we're a net 45 company. You're gonna need to adjust blah blah blah." And it's like, well, sorry, like your vice president of whatever signed a contract with me that says net this or pay upon receipt. So,
Net this.
right? Like there is this in so okay, my first point in this is as an IC, it's making I think we have this like, oh, I got to keep getting the bigger fish. I got to keep going to the whale. But like the whale has some really
The whale don't work on your terms.
no, and
A mom
has
and pop who spends $1,500 a month with you pays every 30 days on time, no questions, no issues. Again, you got a retainer of $100,000 coming in from B2B corporate company 101. You'll be lucky if you're paid once every 6 months.
totally. So it's like there is that piece. So yeah, whale, cool, dollar signs,
It's
more
so
money.
hard, on the small business, right? Because cash flow is important, right? You need recurring money coming in, not checks to cash every once in a while. And that's why all of us continue to transition and focus more and more on recurring income streams like recurring digital marketing
Yeah.
strategy and tactics, is because building websites again is great and still a part of the business and a vital piece of the business, but it's just an injection of cash. It's a spike in your month to
Yeah.
month, and it's great when it's there and then it goes away. But you need that kind of incremental climbing, saying another 2,500, another 2,500, another 2,500, and now like the waterfall effect 6 months down the road, and now those are paying you $7,500 a month, and all of a sudden you're going, that's where my agency is growing. Not just saying, yes, I got a $75,000 job, but they're going to pay net 45.
Well, and that's when you can start building a team. I think if I
Yeah.
look back to, I don't know, I guess going on 10 years ago now, let's say 7 or 8 years ago, as I
Mhm.
was really starting to build a team, it was probably the most stressed out I have ever been in my life, trying to ensure that my cash flow is in a place to meet payroll. I think my one regret looking back, because especially owning, here's my fucking million hats I wear. I'm the business owner. I'm the ops lead, but like also the accounting department is mine. I don't have a controller. I don't have anyone else looking after that piece. Like that is firmly in my court. So I'm chasing you. I'm screaming at you. I'm also setting up your project, but I feel like that was one of the hardest. That is the first time in my business that we had to make a conscious decision to pull from our personal and invest in the business, our personal savings to just make sure we had enough of a nest egg from a cash flow perspective that was sitting there. But to me, that is like, you need to I think the advice I would give that version of me is you think you know your numbers, you don't know your numbers at all. Because
Preacher, 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 preacher.
work was coming in, and to your point, oh wow, this like influx of a big project, and we're doing so well this month, but that's not recurring revenue. So the next month you're sitting there with a staff person or two staff people staring at you, and they need to eat too. And you're going, okay, yeah, let's figure out cash flow. And then I started getting smarter with like obviously systems and processes, but like really understanding the balance sheet every month, really understanding, okay, what are the expenses? And I think, well, that isn't my stress anymore because I've built a business. One of these conversations I'm having in terms of accounts receivable, again, it's one of these big whales, great contract, really interesting work. The whole team is involved. It's a large retainer. So for us, that's PR and digital marketing services,
Nice.
but they're a huge, net 1 million days
Yeah.
because they're also waiting for big projects. And, on the scale of all the people they have to pay, their marketing team
We
is
just had a major project. We made a major custom web project that we won this year that we were working on. Really, it's going to be a showcase piece. Really, really nice. Has gone through some delays due to outside reasons with the larger scale company we're working with, and just got notified today that the project's been now put on hold until April of next year.
Ugh.
So my point being is
Yeah.
let's close this topic. So we got our 50% deposit.
Yeah.
We did our 30-day after. We're 75% there. We have not finished 75% of the work. And now it can sit. Now I could do the renting thing. That's fine. Like I said, we have
Right.
our own servers. We're okay, but we have 75% of what they have invested in us in our bank account. And now the project is sitting. So is that 25% good money for our run sheet? Absolutely it is. But I have 75% versus I got 10%, 25%.
Totally.
I'm billing at the end of the project and holding on to this tremendous amount of cost with production centers. So get more upfront. And right away, that's also a signal that if somebody scoffs at you and says 50%, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you have an issue paying that 50%? Because if that's your warning sign of whether somebody, to your point, has what it takes to pay the value of what you're producing, and also you're not working for free.
Well, and I think too, from the perspective of the whale versus the fish, in terms of how you're, okay, maybe I would accept a e-transfer from this guy and not from that guy. I would say same upfront. Get more from your whale upfront. They can afford it, and they are the
Yes.
ones that are going to be the slow movers, the multiple rounds of approval, the, to your point, oh sorry, we got to pause until April. They are, the small business owner that needs a new website immediately because they're trying to drive sales through the door, and likely they
Yep.
are not the ones that are going to be getting in the way of you getting the work done. It is that larger whale. So, hey, if you can get 75, just because your process says 50, 25, 25, or whatever your process is, ask that guy for 70, right? Like, I feel like sometimes we get stuck in these numbers in sales. And actually, Emily is a good example as she kind of moves into more sales. It's like with her, my conversations have been, try this. This is an interesting customer. You've gotten their budget, their authority, all the things you need. Put this out there. It aligns in their budget. See what happens. You can always have a conversation after that. And so just because your process is X, I think don't be afraid to, your
Oh,
ops person will
absolutely.
always be
And
happy if you
play,
get more.
try, gamble a little bit. Like my Peter always says, like I was always growing up, I was I'm still am very conservative. I'm not a risk taker at all. And so it's, again, risk is stress and stress is anxiety. You get a pattern of that as I share more and more. So, but my Peter used to tell me in mentorship, he would be like, he goes, Mike, he goes, I'm the risk taker in the dynamic. I have to make decisions, and
Right.
there's risk with a lot of, and where's the money for the business going? We're making the right decision with staff. Am I focused on the right verticals that are going to bring in enough business that we can close it and then feed everybody? Because like I said, the owner, and again, that's the unique thing between you and I, right? Is we're ops people, but
Yeah.
you're a true agency owner. I am an operational manager. I do not own anything of WSI Commandex. I'm just the longest tenured employee. So, to your point, is like you mentioned earlier, like you have a responsibility and a pressure of saying Emily and your Peter and Karen and everybody else, they got to eat. And
Yeah.
if you don't steer the ship, Mrs. Pilarski, then people aren't going to eat and then people aren't going to pay their mortgages. So the responsibility when you have a team is amplified versus just saying, well, I'm getting up today and working for myself and
Yeah.
just using production centers. And that's why a lot of people prefer to stay small is again just that pressure, right? That added responsibility of what it takes to run a team and the volume that you need to feed the team, if you will, which is your sales hopper and then your project pipeline.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a hard decision. There's ego in the decision. I feel like so last year we made a really conscious decision not to grow. We were going to maintain. We had no growth baked into budget. We had no growth baked into goals. And I feel like we got really vulnerable as business owners and just said, why are we trying to grow and have growth year over year over year? And there was this conversation we had around, if you grow, it means the team needs to grow. because we had already obviously last year grown way past just me doing the work, which was
Yeah.
what it was for a long time. I did the work, Peter brought the sales in, and he dealt with the people, he had the meetings. I sat in the background grinding it out, was very happy doing that. And then it was, okay, there's more work. All right. Hey, we like that lifestyle. Okay, let's bring one more person and let's bring more. So last year, this conscious decision to say, no, let's not grow. Let's figure out what we're doing. Let's figure out what we want and what the right sizing of the team is. And so this year, especially based on all the things that Peter's doing in the AI space, we built growth in. But what I'll say about all that too is, for me, at the beginning, when we made some conscious decisions to grow and bring team members on, there was a big piece for me and my own ego and I felt stagnant, right? Like here I had come from a corporate Calgary where it was very clear what my path moving forward was, my path to vice president of the department, and you come in and you run an agency and I don't know, I like a gold star. I like an award. I like a pat on the head. It is who I am. And so now I'm by myself grinding it out, dealing with, yeah, some really nice clients that tell me good job and oh, we're so thankful for you, but a lot of assholes too who are pushing deadlines and not giving me that, filling my cup in that way. And so to me, it was like, wow, I've chosen a path where I'm never going to have a promotion again. I never get to have a review. I know what a freaking A-type person I am, but there was this like loss of almost like corporate identity. And so to me, growing the business now allowed me to grow. So not only am I just worker bee and business owner, and I really called myself then business owner as opposed to entrepreneur because I didn't feel like an entrepreneur. But for me, that was like this opening up of, okay, now I can level up my own career because I have a team now and I get to manage someone. Yay. Or I have to develop systems and
Joy.
I have to develop systems and processes and you know what?
Joy.
But I like the process side. Like I like to create stuff. I like to,
I
but
like to create.
anyways,
I like to create structure.
right? Like it became
It
this,
only works one. It only works 1% of the time, but when it works, man, it's fun.
so it only works once.
It only works once. It does like the full loop, and then it breaks, and then it lights up. You know, it's like the old cartoon where it's like Acme, and like
Yeah.
flames just burst. I'm like, yeah, thank you, ops.
But it was this nice, so I mean, I guess my soapbox or my inspirational speech here is like, I don't know, if you're an IC and you're feeling stagnant and stuck and you have the ability to grow, maybe it's because you need the little push off that ledge to take the next step and to bring a team member on, and but like know your numbers first, have a few processes so that as you're
And
bringing
you
that
know
person
that
on,
can we just say though? Can we just say though on that piece is everybody's like, oh, I'm not big, and the data is so overwhelming. Don't make it that hard.
no.
Don't make it that hard. You know, what is the true cost of what it takes to run what you're doing? What is your suppliers costing you? Um, classify what you're selling so you can start to build buckets as to, how much is SEO versus social media versus this bring in for me. Um, and just start looking at what data you have and how you use it and tighten it up. And maybe this is a time to plug again, EOS. Again, it's going to be a topic that comes up, but that's what EOS taught us
Yeah.
was that data will drive informed business decisions. And we have been working now 5 years on our data, and it is so much better than 5 years ago. And there's still so much to do, but it's getting incrementally better. And we're seeing it in the percentages. We're seeing it in the conversations. Yesterday, for example, even though being off, I was working, shocking, but it was my own job. I needed to do something. And I rebuilt our entire pricing model for internal cost of our SEO department and packages and externally. And so I was busy doing it and blah, blah, blah. I got it done at, F off Wednesdays. And I said to Peter, I'm like, can I get some time? I showed it to him and took him through everything and blah, blah, blah. And remember, me and Peter do this stuff together because
Right.
Peter's a really good Excel guy and he wants to be in the formulas. And that's where he really brings his experience to the table. And I said everything. I said, what do you think? And he goes, I don't even know why you presented this. He goes, it all makes sense. I don't have a single question. What do you want from me? And it caught me off guard because it's always a collaboration. My point is not, yay, good job, Mike. It was, it was completely data driven. It didn't show the top line item that a typical CEO looks at, which is like, wow, that looks way more expensive than what we're doing now. I
Right.
broke it down to show an average of this, what this costs, what this difference means, how much our pricing has to change, and what is our profit margin on it. And that's what he needed to see so that he doesn't get caught in the noise. And that's the balance. Again, you talk about US, but integrator and visionary.
Yeah.
A visionary looks at everything at the bottom line or at the 25,000 foot ceiling, because that's where they sit and play. They're visionaries and they want to know just the end point. The operation manager, the integrator needs to know every fucking detail and a way to articulate it so that the visionary can be involved and engaged in their business and you gel and work together. You don't butt heads. That's why integrator and visionary have to be separate people. And that's why an integrator is typically a project manager, a production manager, whoever is spearheading the production fulfillment is typically going to be the integrator because they know how to move things.
Yeah.
And they know. So again, your Peter spats and spews ideas all day. You're the one that absorbs it, filters 99% of it, and says, this is the 1% of it that's really good. And this is how I can build it for you. If you can find your integrator to match your visionary, that's that first key person to, if we push you off the ledge, to say, where am I going to make that investment and try to tread water in a little bit deeper than I'm used to swimming in?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. And that's the key role, because if you can get your fulfillment moving, then you can start working on what most ICs are really smart and really good at, is they're good salespeople and they're good about building business networks and development. Fulfillment is what the shit is. It sucks.
Yeah.
So get somebody that thrives off of that and wants to just spit it out, that you can trust. And then you can start building the other layer of key people in your army that you're going to build as maybe you move to a 2, 3, 4, 5 person agency. And that's that's where you need to start.
Yeah.
So cheers to us, ops people. Can I take a couple of minutes and talk about my latest song thing that I'm going to be dropping out?
Of course you can.
Why am I asking you? It's my goddamn podcast.
You do you, buddy.
now everybody knows who the real engineers. WhatsApp Christina right after I guess, Mike, don't bring up ideas. I tell you what to do, bitch.
That is not in my spreadsheet page.
It will be. There's a caption for a social media post. No, but I want to share this because I've shared a few of these on Work Vivo and so forth, and right around when Workplace was getting decommissioned. I know people are slow to get the app for Work Vivo, but I've been posting a few of these songs. And these are AI generated songs that I am playing with based on a piece of functionality that head office actually mentioned at convention. And maybe another day when we focus on lyrics, I'll share more in depth about that. But playing with this and having fun based on things I like and whatever, and tying it back to history and experiences and humor, and just to get people to laugh in the themes of the music I like. Well, the last one I've produced, I'm really happy with it, and showing the progression of what I'm learning. I'm basically becoming like a song engineer now.
You are.
But it's cool because now we're getting sound bites for the podcast. We're getting the intro, and the outro is actually something we've made together and talked about. Your Peter just helped us, shitting on the former version, saying it was too long. And he was right. So we're getting great organic feedback that's, so we're putting it into this stuff. So the latest one is called Recharge. And I'm going to drop it next week after US Thanksgiving fully to the network. And it's a song I kind of produced and wrote lyrically this week because I'm off. And what I needed is what's reflected in that song. So, hope everybody enjoys it. We'll share it in one of these episodes. But keep an eye next week for Recharge. And go take a look at the one I posted last week, which was a tribute to Mike Monahan and this Mexico convention. And I got a story around that. So whether Mike comes on one day, that would be fun. He like shuts it down, gets on right away. His otter turns on. He's like, Mike, just we're not going to be doing this anymore. Thanks. And he just breaks out his acoustic guitar and sings me a jingle out.
That'd be fun.
But Mike always ramps up everybody at convention, right?
Totally.
He is amazing with his acoustic guitar, and just like the dude is fearless to be out in front of people. Like I would literally soil my underpants if you told me to go and try to like do something musically in front of people. Like I have no coordination. And Mike's out there he's got everybody clapping and singing along. So it stuck with me at a convention. I was like, you know what? He always does this kind of rah-rah at WSI. And I was like, why don't he wrote one to introduce Global Convention. I produced one to reflect on Global Convention. So that one there is kind of a Mike Monahan themed with Cheryl and about convention and how I'm a thorn in their side and where I maybe want to go next year for convention. Valerie, if you're listening, Valerie, follow my podcast.
Jamaica vote now.
But that one's funny because it's light beat and it's humorous. And again, I'm just trying to do it to make people laugh, but I'm also doing it to humor myself and to show others in there is like, this is how I got my feet wet, or I started to understand AI was something as silly as this. Wasn't about building a proposal, wasn't about building some ridiculous technology function to spearhead digital marketing. It was trying to understand how to talk to AI to produce a sound and a lyric I wanted. And I never thought I could produce something like this. And now I'm taking the same principles and now I'm bringing it into WSI Commandix to make me a smarter ops manager. So give them a listen, and we'll be sharing them more and more. And they're kind of tied back to this theme of the angry ops guy. And just wanted to share that because it's been a fun couple of days producing the latest one. And I think it's pretty good. The intro is pretty kick-ass.
You've done an incredible job. Thank you. I have enjoyed watching you on your AI journey because I feel like, this podcast has opened your mind to the world of AI.
It's got, again, I'm gonna kind of close it with what Emily said earlier. It's given us, you included, something to be creative with.
Yeah.
And other ops people will understand that. You're always working for somebody else. You're always facilitating something based on what they need. We're building something with literally a blank canvas, like I said earlier, and it's just challenging. Like you said, our WhatsApp group chat is hilarious because the ideas are just flowing, and it's like literally a board to throw stuff at. So, yeah, it's been really energizing. And like you also said, why this is different than two babies in the business. So this is like therapy for us. We've been here having a chat with my buddy on the living room couch for an hour and a half here.
Yeah. Can I share my one AI win this week from an ops perspective?
Yeah, let's do it.
We are big Loom users at CIPR. I don't know if you guys play with Loom at all.
That's the one that you can record like a video and send it in an email to somebody.
Yeah, so it's like a little video. Not an AI unlock, but for an IC, we started using Loom to better communicate with our suppliers because hammering out a note and you're continually just missing each other when you can just send a video. It's, you can pick up a phone and call someone on the same time zone as you, obviously, but a lot of our suppliers are not. And so it really sped up our communication with them. So that's when we initially adopted Loom, and Karen, shout out to Karen, created great process around what we need when you need a Loom video for a supplier, anyways. Loom has a little AI now, like every other tool, some AI features that you can check the box and turn on. So I mean Peter turned all those AI buttons on a while back. I finally got in there this week. I had obviously still been making tons of Loom videos. I feel like as much as I voice note, I also make Loom videos during the day and just shoot them off to people.
Like the one that's been sitting in my inbox for 2 weeks that I booked a
Yes,
meeting with you, and then I pull up the email to say, okay, I just got to get to my basis here. And it says, hey, Mike, all of my thoughts in this loon video.
it was a good Loom video too.
I still haven't watched it. I'll get to it.
Like, it's fun. You'll enjoy it because there is one spot where I get completely lost all over screen and I'm like, I don't know what window I'm. Anyways, there's incentive to watch it. So turn on the AI features. There is now, you record your video. There's this little button on the side of the screen that says make a document from my video. So I had made a video around, we have new people that started at CIPR. This is a funny one. Sharing calendars with one another is always something that comes up, right? How do I see your calendar? How do I share a calendar? Right? Like all those things that.
I've been working at WSI for 15 years. We just got that finalized and fixed for the entire team like 4 months ago.
There you go. So I made a little video early one morning before everyone else logged on. Here's how you share your calendar. You go here, you do this, you press these buttons. And then I see this little make a document, boom, beautiful SOP with links to my video with.
So you recorded it and everything. Oh, okay. Can we book some time when I come back online next week? I need to see that because I got to announce some stuff to some clients, and my traditional brain says book the Zoom call with them.
Right.
Do it once and just send it, and then let them engage me if they want to have more in depth. Because again, right, like
Yeah.
I don't need to be chased. It's very important that they know it's personalized from me, who's running operations of a change of what they're paying for. But like, I need some time with you on that. Okay.
It's so like, and I encourage
Amazing.
everyone because from an operational perspective, to me, I like when I found that button and it came up. And what was nice is I felt like it really captured my voice because it was capturing my voice, right? Like it looked like
Nice.
any other standard operating procedure that I would have made.
And did it build that document just based on, so you were talking like this into the computer while showing your screen, basically just doing a screen share.
Yeah.
And because it was your actual voice, it took it and made exactly what you were saying. So if they wanted to read it and watch it and read it at the same time, they could do it both ways based on how they process.
Absolutely.
Oh, we need to talk, Lenny. I've got solutions for you, buddy.
Yeah, I was so
For the
impressed.
wins.
I was so impressed by that. And as an
Wow.
right, like that SOP that you have been wanting to write for a million years, just go film a
And
video.
that's the
press the
problem,
button.
eh? Like I can't get it out of my head, but if you say, Mike, go talk like this for 20 minutes, I can do it. It's the document I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay! Anyways, I am pretty excited about that this week. I was
can I
excited.
tell you my AI win? It'll be much shorter than that.
Tell me.
No, I love how I'm like talking it down like it's nothing. You're like, sure, tell me. Like, mine was awesome. Yours sucks. So I, in my GPT, when I was doing the lyrics for this song and so forth, one of the things I have to figure out is you have to basically build the kind of like instruction notes before your verses to try to educate the app. I want a riff here. I want an explosive intro. I want drum fill here. So you have to try to navigate what you want it to produce. So it wasn't getting the cadence right and it wasn't doing what I wanted. So I said, screw it. So I went online and I found the song generating apps wiki. And I fed the wiki to my GPT and said, understand every goddamn thing about this tool. And then it says, okay, analyzes the entire wiki. And then I said, okay, you got everything? He says, yep. I said, so what parts do you understand about how to do the tags, about how to, the instrumental stuff? He goes, well, we should do it like this and this and this, and we have to make it refined and more descriptive. Okay, I'll put this of what you've learned, and now let me put it into the GPT. So now I don't want it giving me stupid tags that aren't going to produce shit anymore. So instead of me learning how to do it, I fed it the entire support Wikipedia of the sound generation app. And think about that, everybody. So that's what I did about song lyrics. You can do that for anything. You're building a proposal about HubSpot, go feed HubSpot.com or HubSpot's knowledge base resource section that's available to the public. Go feed it to your GPT and tell it to understand HubSpot. It'll just start putting in the key stuff that you want into your HubSpot proposal. So you don't got to spend 6 months doing a course If you're not good like that, get this technology to learn at the speed of light. Remember, you still have to fact check, but
Right.
it can take thousands of resource pages and analyze and say, yep, I understand the ins and outs of how to use this tool. And now you can tell it in your brain what you want it to understand and what it has to say to you. So take that example of song lyrics and now apply that into next week to something for your digital marketing. That's what I learned this week.
Look at us, just AI
No,
warrior.
we're just, aren't we just amazing?
We are.
Christina, I'm going to give you 2 gold stars.
Oh, thank you. 2.
2, because you have 2 boys who are terrified of me now.
They're sick.
Instead, yeah, they're like, hey, kids, you didn't make a good impression with Mr. Sweary. Like, he's got a big head. All right. Well, I had fun today. Did you?
I did. I had a lot of fun.
Good. Did we solve anything?
No, we still have not solved anything.
Okay. See you next week.
Good luck, buddy.
This angry ops guy just needs to unplug.
Here we go again.
My children even said, remember yesterday, they said, wow.
Yeah, can you just jump in here and educate the audience of 3 of us plus Emily, how your boys interpret me, even though they haven't met me, but they're living vicariously through my audio clips?
I need to, we'll need to throw this one in. But they said, man, you leave the longest messages, and my mom just made me listen to them all because I'm often like in the car.
Oh,
And I'll just
these are not safe for children. This is me screaming at you for someone to understand rage.
they're very mature.
The best part of what Christina's not telling everybody is one of the first ones that I sent her after convention. I just wanted to be like, it was literally like, Christina, so nice to see you guys. I miss you. Let's stay in touch. Let's not do all the things we did the last year, blah, blah, blah. And then we were talking about the ops, and I used a few explicits there to be expressive. And doesn't Christina just say, hey, kids, you're 8 or 9 years old, time to get familiar with swear words? And Mike goes off. And then the reply back is her voice with an audio clip. You swear a lot, Mr. Sweary. And right there, I'm like, I've missed the boat on my target audience.